Good morning and happy Friday. Thank you very much for listening. We're in day 2 of the Miracle Marathon benefiting Children's Wisconsin. And it is a power hour thanks to AccuNet Mortgage. So whatever you can afford to donate, that money is being doubled right now until 7 o'clock. So there are many different ways that you can donate. 414-337-WKLH, which is 9554. And you can also, of course, do it online. And as Doreen said, you can also text the word miracle to 414-799-1965, and then you'll get a link back. You just click on that link and donate that way.
Super easy.
We try to make it as easy as possible. Very rarely do we have an interview where we have more people than microphones, and that's the case today. We have half a dozen people in front of us, but instead of introducing everybody at once, I think we'll start with Mom here. Laurie Johnson is with us. Laurie is here from Hartford to tell the story of Logan. And Logan passed when he was 8 years old in May of. How about we have you introduce at least your family here?
Okay, sounds good. With me I have my daughter Ashley, and then I have my son Adam.
Okay, very good. And we have the trio of doctors with
Yes.
you as well. So take us back to Saturday morning, May 6, 2017. Logan was playing soccer.
Yep, perfectly healthy, normal Saturday morning. He had been sick the day before, kept home from school, had a fever and whatnot. Saturday morning, came running into our room and seemed fine. I did the mom touch to the forehead and said, "You seem okay, you seem healthy, and everything's good. You must have just had a little virus or whatever." Went and played soccer. Was a little slow coming off the field at one point. I do remember thinking that. Later on, we got home and the fever had returned. So that's kind of what I attributed coming off the field to, is he just was kind of sick again. Gave him some medication to kind of help with his fever, was keeping him home from things. And throughout the afternoon, he did kind of complain of a little bit of chest pain. Again, I kind of thought it was more related to possibly a virus, something with his lungs or something, pneumonia or something. We'd probably take him into the doctor. Later on that evening, though, he was sitting next to our son Adam, and he was eating a little graham cracker, and then he was like staring off and wasn't making sense, and he eventually collapsed at home. And then we had to call the ambulance. He was unresponsive. We thought maybe it was a seizure, and he looked almost like we were going to have to do CPR on him. And we got him to Children's, and it took a period of time. I think he was more abdominal pain, with some nausea, vomiting, and having passed out at home. So they looked more at the abdomen, and then essentially they ended up, through further testing, finding out that it was his heart. It was basically an ultrasound at the end that quickly captured a part of his heart, and the CT scan showed a part of his heart, and it had an effusion. So they basically took the ultrasound and did a look at his heart, and his heart was only functioning at about 10%.
And were there any signs prior to that day that he had any sort of impediment?
Nothing. Essentially a normal, healthy 8-year-old.
All right, so let's go to the emergency medicine. Dr. Drana is here. Dr. Scott is here as well. Dr. Kindle is here. And that's not like an old Three Stooges bit, Dr. Kindle, Dr. Scott, Dr. Drana. But I want to talk to Dr. Drana first as the emergency medical physician. Explain what the protocol is when Logan comes in at that point.
Yeah, so I met Laurie and her family a few years later, but part of the reason why we crossed paths is we got involved in developing point-of-care ultrasound at the bedside in the emergency department, such that when a kid like Logan comes in, we can more rapidly detect what's going on. So we've developed a program in the ED, emergency department, for using point-of-care ultrasound, which is kind of a portable ultrasound machine you can bring in the room and kind of quickly figure out what's going on with a patient. Why are they so sick? It may guide you to more testing or more lab tests or more pictures, but it helps us as a tool at the bedside to kind of figure out what's going on. And so through working with Laurie and her family and Dr. Kendall, Dr. Scott, and the team, we've developed a clinical practice guideline now called Logan's Protocol, where when we have certain presenting signs and symptoms, using cardiac ultrasound as a brief screening tool, just like 2 basic questions. Is the heart beating okay? Is it squeezing okay? Is there fluid around it? Just really kind of basic pictures we can get so that when there's a kid really sick in front of us, we can kind of figure out, okay, this is the issue. It's the heart versus it's the belly or somewhere else. So it kind of helps us focus on what's going on.
Dr. Cadell, tell us about what Logan's heart problem was.
Yeah, so Logan had something called infectious myocarditis, viral myocarditis, and that word just means that the heart muscle itself was swollen and infected by a virus. You can imagine when you get a virus, your nose swells up, you can't breathe. This was attacking the heart muscle. It's not a super uncommon problem. Many children get this on a mild level, but in Logan's case, it was just particularly aggressive. You know, it attacked and moved quick, and his heart went from probably beating pretty good at a soccer game to barely beating at all in a matter of hours.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
How do you
hard to believe
process
that,
something like this as mom? I mean, it's impossible to, right?
No, pretty much the worst day of our lives.
Yeah. He was 8 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems just so unfair on so many levels.
It does. 2 days before he got sick, he asked what his purpose was and why God made him. So knowing that he stated that as an 8-year-old, we took that information and said, we have to do something. He wanted us. He was giving us kind of a message, if you will,
Right.
that something's going to happen and I want you to do something with this. So saving another child's life is, I think, his purpose.
And
He
so-
wanted to know.
That Logan's protocol is now protocol here at Children's in Wisconsin, right? But what about in other hospitals?
I would love for that to happen. I think it kind of takes a little bit of a small village here that we started, and maybe from there expanding on would be wonderful. I know that I've networked with other moms in different areas of the country even, and have said that this protocol would be nice to have and to be instituted as well. And I'm not sure how far and wide it can go, but I would love that.
Yeah, we think the world of you and your family, and we want to expand it as we can. And our goal really is to be prepared and be ready for the next Logan. And we would like that to be bigger and better every time.
Dr. Scott, how do you come into play? You're an anesthesiologist. How did you come in to know Logan and know Laurie and the family?
Yeah, so I'm an anesthesiologist who happens to spend half his time in the ICU. So I met Logan once it became very clear how sick he was.
Okay.
One of the most important points about what Logan's story has taught us is that when children present with really vague symptoms that can be more severe, it really is important to have another way to make the diagnosis. And one of the things about ultrasound technology that's so important is it allows us to quickly take a picture of somebody's heart in a fashion that's completely non-invasive, non-painful, and can really lead us down the right direction when there's vague symptoms. And we can do that in other parts of the body as well, whether it's the lungs, the abdomen. And so that's really been the purpose. And the most amazing thing about this family is they've taken what is clearly been a devastating and tragic event, and the most difficult thing that any parent can really go through, and turned it around and used that to save other children's lives. And it's very clear that what they've done has allowed us to do that. So
Ashley is here as well. Ashley, Logan's sister. Tell us about Logan and your memories of Logan.
So he was always a happy-go-lucky kind of kid. Always put a smile on everybody's face. His smile was,
Right.
you could just
Something
look
you'll
at him
never-
and he smiled. Yeah.
Something you'll never forget.
Yep. Share the smile everywhere.
What about you, Adam, as his brother?
Yeah, I would kind of second that. Always wanted to put a smile on everyone's face. He'd be like energetic, playing sports, playing anything to make everyone happy, making jokes. Just wanted to put a smile on everyone's face, make everyone else happy.
It's really inspiring to this whole Johnson family and the team that you are taking this tragedy and trying to turn it into something positive for other children. inspiring. It's that kind of research that we are looking for these donations for, research into different protocols and making it easier and better.
That's a good point. Your gift, whatever you can afford to donate, which, by the way, is being doubled until 7 o'clock, helps fund training for children's care providers so they can continue implementing Logan's protocol. Laurie, what would you say to parents out there who are listening to this and about children's and what it's meant to you and what your experience and your family's experience was like here?
I would say it's a top-notch institution with practitioners from nursing, medical staff that truly cared about Logan, truly cared about our family, helped us in all ways, whether it's physically, mentally. They literally treated us like it was our family is one of their own. Logan was one of their children. They cried with us. They hugged us. They were there for us. So I can't say enough. And they did not shy away from, even though something tragic occurred, they didn't shut the doors and try to push it aside. They wanted to do better. They wanted to open their arms up and work with us and listen to what Logan was also requesting. Like there's got to be something more that can be done. So they did it readily, and I will be eternally grateful for all of them.
And I can't get over the fact that Logan, just 2 days before this happened, asked, "Why am I here and what is my purpose?" That's just, for an 8-year-old boy,
Yeah.
that's just unbelievable. That is definitely divine intervention. There's no doubt. Laurie, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing your family out today to tell Logan's story. Thanks to the trio of doctors who joined us here today. And most importantly, thanks to you for listening to this out there, and make sure to donate some money, because the Johnson family is very typical of any family here in the state of Wisconsin. They're just out watching their son play soccer, and the next thing you know, they're here. And Logan's gone. And telling Logan's story is only impactful if you are motivated to donate money. Don't listen to the story and feel bad and then move on. You hear stories like this about Logan, such a special little boy, clearly his brother and sister talked about it. And this adds meaning to Logan's life, and it also, frankly, adds meaning to your own life. I mean, giving back and helping others, it's really the core of what it means to be a human, right? The empathy that we display to one another. Now's the time to step up. All the money stays in Wisconsin. It goes to this facility. It doesn't go anywhere else. It makes an immediate impact, and it's being doubled right now. Please make the phones ring. I can't implore you enough. 414-337-9554. We'll be back. We're at Children's Wisconsin with the Miracle Marathon on KLH. Don't go away.